Good evening and welcome to Newshour. I am Kojo Kwafu. Coming up in tonight's edition of Newshour, President Julius Maada Bio holds talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The Vice President Jules Jallo commends Japan for funding the construction of a warehouse for Sierra Leone at McDonald Village. And the chairperson Board of Directors of the National Revenue Authority visits Customs and Excise Department. All those stories and more are lined up in tonight's edition of Newshour. President Julius Maada Bio has held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing. The two leaders agreed to further promote the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership between the two countries. President Bio is on a state visit to China and will attend the upcoming 2018 Beijing Summit of the China-Africa Cooperation. President Xi Jinping noted that since the establishment of diplomatic relations 47 years ago, China and Sierra Leone have always been good friends. Sierra Leone was one of the countries supporting the People's Republic of China in restoring its lawful seat in the United Nations. The Chinese president also called on the two countries to continue their mutual support on bilateral occasions and promote stable and further development of bilateral relations. President Bio said that Sierra Leone is willing to learn from China's development experience, promote bilateral ties, actively participate in the Belt and Road construction, and deepen cooperation with China in various fields. He said Sierra Leone is committed to enhancing communication and coordination with China in multilateral affairs so as to safeguard the legitimate rights of African countries. The two presidents witnessed the signing of some cooperation documents. The Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Jules Jallo, has commended the Japanese government for providing funds for the construction of a warehouse and provision of non-food items for the government of Sierra Leone. He was speaking at McDonald Village in the Western Rural District at the handing over ceremony of the site for the construction of the warehouse. Thomas Neal now reports.
Congratulations. Let us please give a big hand. Engineer, please help us enter.
In disaster response, a vulnerable category of the population that needs social protection are women, children, the aged, and physically challenged. It is therefore envisaged that the construction and handing over of this warehouse with relief items is no doubt a major determinant in responding to risks, hazards, vulnerabilities, and post-disaster periods. Events in recent past indicate that the central government is faced with threats of disasters on a day-to-day basis and thus need innovative tools to effectively deal with them. Vice President Dr. Mohamed Jules Jallo noted that the gesture is a manifestation of a long friendship in the relationship with Japan and thanked the International Organization for Migration IOM for the dynamic step taken in ensuring the completion of the building. He said it is a big step towards building resilience in communities, adding that it is the right step towards the development of national capacity response to emergencies.
Previous speakers have already stated that Sierra Leone has been rated as the third most vulnerable country to natural disasters. Natural disasters, they occur. Sometimes very difficult or almost a near difficulty to prevent them. What is important is the capacity of the state and the capacity of government, authorities, whether national or local authorities, to respond to those disasters.
The Honorary Consul, Embassy of Japan, Dr. Kishore Shankanas, said assistance of this nature is supported by the Japanese supplementary budget, which is provided for the purpose of solving social problems that need immediate response. The government of Japan, he noted, was pleased to give an assistance of $1,234 United States dollars to the IOM for the government and people of Sierra Leone to be used in this project to strengthen disaster preparedness response and community resilience.
This is yet another milestone that highlights Sierra Leone's growing resilience to natural disasters and emergencies in no small part due to the extensive efforts of the organizations like the IOM, whose daily efforts globally truly can make a difference to the development of communities.
Head of Mission, IOM, Alhaji Sanusi Tijan Savage, said the best weapon against natural disaster is not in the amount of aid and goodwill, but rather their collective vigilance and preparedness. He said his organization utilized funding accrued by the government of Japan to implement the project entitled Strengthening Disaster Preparedness, Response and Community Resilience in Sierra Leone. The Director of Disaster Preparedness, ONS, John Rogers, said the project titled Strengthening Disaster Preparedness, Response and Community Resilience in Sierra Leone is to enhance overall national disaster planning and coordination through policy framework for the people of Sierra Leone. The headman of McDonald, Ose Njai-Kuka, thanked IOM and the Japanese government for bringing development to their doorstep.
The newly appointed Director General of NATCOM, Maxwell Hinga Masakoi, and his deputy Daniel Kaitibi have made their maiden visit to the headquarters of AFRICEL at Wilberforce. According to the Director General, this visit is one of many that will be done by him and his team to look at the facilities of mobile operators in the country. Anne-Marie Gekbai has the story.
Operators in the country for far too long have been bashed by the public and civil society organizations for not living up to their expectations. Native Consortium and Research Center is amongst such civil society organizations that have taken one of the country's top mobile service providers to court for poor quality of the service they provide. The National Telecommunications Commission, NATCOM, has mandated by the Commissions Act of 2006, is expected to regulate the operations of telecommunication companies. But this, according to public opinion, is on the contrary. It is against this background that the newly appointed Director General of the Commission and his deputy visited the headquarters of the AFRICEL company at Wilberforce to have a look at the company's facilities. The Director General and his team were taken on a conducted tour of the company's switch room, generation storage facility, customer service department, and the radio facility of the company, Air Radio. When asked whether the visit was as a result of series of concerns raised by the public, Director of Communications and Consumer Relations, NATCOM, Abdul Kuyate, had this to say.
And part of the new strategic approach to regulation is to ensure that there is transparency, there is quality of service in the services, and that the people enjoy their money's worth, and that there is affordability in the services. So this venture is the beginning of their operations to regularize the system, to ensure that they correct all the lapses and the ills that were there before, the weaknesses, and to make sure that people enjoy the services, to also protect the industry itself. Embarked on this tour to inspect the facilities and operations of mobile phone companies in the country. So we've started today with AFRICEL. Along the line, we'll be visiting other mobile.
The Ministry of Trade and Industry, in collaboration with agro-businesses, has held a meeting with stakeholders on the local content policy on the 90-day ultimatum given to supermarket owners to display local produce. The meeting is geared towards addressing packaging of local goods that can make them attractive, especially for foreigners, and to resuscitate the Koindu market as a way of attracting international tourists. They said all Sierra Leonean items should be labeled, packaged and prioritized. Millicent Lunge filed in this report.
Local goods are to be exported to other countries and should not run out, adding that Freetown is not Sierra Leone and the provinces too are part of the process. He said that they will be embarking on building marketplaces in all the 16 districts, and also small and medium enterprises are to access finance to improve on their businesses. Reverend Sir Jones maintained that all local foods that are produced dry should not be mixed with other substances, especially when they will be displayed in supermarkets. A representative from Standards Bureau, Abu Aziz Kamara, said the bureau was established in 2000 to take responsibility to monitor and inspect all local produce. He said they have 212 national standards inspectors as way of ensuring that foods produced in this country are of international standards. He maintained that by September they will be inspecting all business houses so that the produce will be more significant and valuable when packaged, adding that all local produce should have Standards Bureau stamps.
Then we get 35 mandatory standards.
We have 35 mandatory standards, and they are food standards. As foods are considered mandatory, we also consider health safety, which equally falls under our mandatory standards. People enter into this business which they don't understand. We also have product certification, which is ongoing to develop the quality mark.
A representative from the Sierra Leone Import and Export Promotion Agency, Sleeper Henry Fofana, said they will organize a series of intervention in terms of packaging and regular training on graphics designers in packaging policy to attract tourists. Packaging is part of business which makes it more attractive, as the Ministry of Agriculture, Trade and other partners should come together to say that local produce is valued, checked and passed through Standards Bureau.
The Directorate of Local Content under the Ministry of Trade and Industry has informed the SLBC that effective November this year, supermarkets and shops shall have in their shelves products made in Sierra Leone. This, according to Emmanuel Conjo, is in line with the Made in Sierra Leone consumption policy introduced by the Ministry of Trade and Industry a few months ago. Soiba Samura reports.
Sierra Leoneans have long been yearning for the implementation of the local content policy. The Sierra Leone Local Content Agency and the Ministry of Trade and Industry are poised to implement the policy effective November 1 this year. The Director, Local Content Policy Agency, Emmanuel Conjo, told the SLBC that the implementation of the local content policy is a move to encourage Sierra Leoneans to produce and consume their own products. Mr. Conjo maintained that the Ministry of Trade and Industry will provide employment for the farmers that will be supplying the food.
We decided to engage with the supermarkets that have been used as outlets for this product, because we realized that some of them have not been displaying these products. Some of them also have not been ensuring that these products are put on visible areas or invisible areas where they could be sold. And some of them have refused over the past. But again, let me hasten to say that some have been supportive. But we want to create a situation wherein everybody would adhere to quality standards, to use products that are clean and safe, to use products that are certified health-wise, and the like.
Some traders have, however, welcomed the news of the pronouncement made by the Ministry of Trade and Industry. A meat seller, Abdullahi Bar of Kutown Road Market, said a decline in the sale of meat is because of the small scale of rearing of cattle in the country. He called on the Ministry of Agriculture to empower cattle rearers so that there could be enough meat in the market. An Indian businessman, Vijay, told SLBC that they will be very happy to have goods such as locally produced rice in their shops. He called on the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the Local Content Directorate to popularize the policy. Soriba Samura, SLBC News, Freetown.
Focus 1000, a non-governmental organization, has engaged community, religious and traditional leaders across the country on the outcome for a quality, available and accessible reproductive, maternal and child health services for women and children in Sierra Leone. The national workshop was held at Cham's Beach Hotel in Freetown. Maini Mansari reports.
Focus 1000, a non-governmental organization which operates in 14 districts across the country, has been leading in strengthening the use of data policy development, accountability and decision-making within the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, and on community and religious engagement on saving the lives of people and children in Sierra Leone. The Executive Director of Focus 1000, Alhaji Bailo Jallo, said they will continue to work with community leaders, market women and religious leaders to tackle relating health issues in Sierra Leone.
We focus on the first 1,000 days of life. And of course, whatever we do is to support the efforts of the government, in this particular area, because we believe in good nutrition, food and nutrition security.
Maya Malaha, a representative from the Directorate on Food and Nutrition, said it has been proven that malnutrition is attributed to 45% of infants' mortality rate and death in Sierra Leone, adding that breastfeeding exercise has increased from 32% to 61%, changing the rate of anemia among infants in the country. Communications Officer National Malaria Control Program, Wani Lahai, called on the Sierra Leoneans to change their behavior of not sleeping under a treated malaria net and also encourage pregnant women to go for their malaria tablets before the child turns 1. The President's Market Women's Association, Haji Mai Bob Kande, said she will continue to engage market women to adhere to health care services to save lives of children and also to adopt the method of blood donations in hospitals to save lives. From the religious community, Alhaji Abubakar Kamara calls on religious leaders to always preach on health issues like breastfeeding, malaria treatment and blood donation to save lives.
The chairperson of the Board of Directors of the National Revenue Authority, Adama Tuma Jabi, and some members of the board have made an on-the-spot visit to the Customs and Excise Department and the Sierra Leone Ports Authority. The unannounced visit targeted inspections of the quay and familiarizing with staff. Esther Marie Samura was there and she filed in this report.
There should be on a weekly report to tell us how are we doing when it comes to facilities.
This was how the on-the-spot visit started at the Customs and Excise Department. At the automated system of customs data, Ascuda Plus, a unit responsible for the administrative system of the Customs Department, facilities were inspected. At the Customs Long Room, the chairman, Tuma Jabi, and a team were briefed about the operations of all of the different units at the Customs Department. Few weeks ago, it was reported that 3 containers and a vehicle went missing at the port. This warranted the chairman and her team to take a tour at the Sierra Leone Port Authority. They met with staff at the Vehicle and Examination Unit and held discussions with some of them. She expressed with dismay the way and manner officials and staff manned the port and emphasized the need for proper supervision.
It's lack of supervision. The procedures, the process were not duly followed, or should I say there were lapses here and there. Not that, so in some cases there wasn't like a set procedure. Maybe what they were doing, it gives way for tax evasion, it gives way for this kind of situation to happen. So which is why we came, and to, at the board level, where the supervisory level, we need to make sure that some of the procedures are properly laid and then they are followed, so that the supervisors, the managers, the revenue officers are actually doing the right thing. And if you don't follow it, there are disciplinary procedures that ought to be followed, and we'll go by them.
Commissioner Customs and Excise Department, Mr. Said Conte, appreciated the move by the board and hoped that mechanisms would be put in place to improve the quay.
It's quite very unique and important because she had just took office as the board chairperson, and she needs to familiarize with all the operational departments. And Customs is very keen, the National Revenue Authority, in terms of revenue generation, as well as the challenges that we have currently. She's kind of worried because since she came about 2-3 days ago, she heard about the vehicle incident and the 3 containers that was physically stolen at the port. So she had to know what actually went wrong, how we can fix up some issues to forestall further happenings.
Some vehicle agents appealed to the Commissioner General, Dr. Samuel Chibao, to reduce the time frame for clearing vehicles from the quay, which cost them more rent fee to Boloi Company. Esther Marie Samuel reporting for SLBC TV.
A medical center run by philanthropist Josephine Nyaba has been serving some communities within the Central Business District on cost recovery basis and has called on the government for support for the effective running of the clinic. The center, which started operations in 2004, has been serving thousands of people in the Central Business District who cannot afford the high cost of accessing healthcare services. In this report filed in by Cynthia Camara, the amount of patients seeking medical attention and aid at the center can't be catered for due to limited medical facilities so far.
Blessed Mokaba is a health center at Siptop Street and has been in operation for 14 years, providing medical services for people, especially the poor and vulnerable. But it, however, lacks some required facilities to enhance its operations. For this reason, the center managers have to refer certain cases, even emergencies, to other hospitals. The proprietress of the hospital, Josephine Nabe, told the SRBC that she has over the years been through lots of challenges. But as a nurse, she values the lives of people and cannot watch them struggle, hence the urge for her establishing the clinic. Since their opening in 2004, the center was being supplied with medicine by the government of Sierra Leone, but had to be stopped in 2010 after the launch of the Free Healthcare Initiative. Nurse Nabe added that the proposed relocation of street traders to the area as a new market will have a great effect on the clinic because they have some patients in bed that needs quietness. One of the patients, Blessing Odi, said the health center has been of great help not just to her, but to many others in the area and its immediate environs. She noted that the center is rendering quality services because she has had safe deliveries of her 3 children. Nurses, she went on, have been taking good care of patients in the clinic.
The Peace Alliance Consulting, Educating and Training Center, together with other civil societies in Sierra Leone, have been following with keen interest the level of criminality surrounding the investment climate in the country. The organizations have brought to the attention of the government about reports of some unscrupulous Sierra Leoneans involved in criminalizing the gold and diamond trade in the country. Sheila Refu has been finding out some more.
Peace Alliance Consulting, Educating and Training Center is a peace and human rights organization committed to building peace using ethically sound traditional conflict transformation techniques. Director of Peace Alliance Consulting, Educating and Training Center, Charles Lahai, said that the economic and social implications are of greater concern, more so that it is robbing the government of taxes it can generate and use to provide the necessary social protection services.
Facets and partners have been raising public awareness on this situation, recognizing further that if it is not interrupted, the level of inequalities in the distribution of national wealth and the tendency for state fragility will heighten. Following reports of some foreign nationals, including Americans and Turkish, being recently duped by scammers of over $2 million United States dollars, 2 of the scammers have been apprehended and prosecuted in the Civil Justice Court in Freetown. That's the court number 2. They were granted bail with sureties.
Executive Director, Center for Coordination of Youth Activities, Abigail Stephen, said that her organization is strongly behind Peace Alliance Consulting, Educating and Training Center to stop the criminality surrounding the investment climate, especially in the mining and sale of gold and diamonds. She further said the organization is not happy with the rate at which young people are being smuggled to find greener pastures whilst the country is rich.
This is Newshour on the SLBC. Let's now join Esther Marie Samura for the latest in sports.
Good evening and welcome to the Sports Update on News Hour. In this edition, the Minister of Sports, Ibrahim Yelenke, has assured Sierra Leoneans of Leone Stars' preparedness to compete with their counterpart in Ethiopia. Leone Stars will lock horns with Williams in Addis Ababa on the 9th of September 2018. He made this statement whilst addressing journalists at a normal press briefing at the conference room organized by the Minister of Information and Communication at the Minister of Information. Umubakar was there and now report.
Sport is a discipline that brings together different types of people, regardless of their social, political, or economic status. It is against this that the youth in Sierra Leone are very eager to develop sports in the country, especially football. And as Sierra Leone prepares to meet its counterpart in Ethiopia in the African Nations Cup qualifiers, many people want to know the level of preparedness of the national team Leone Stars. Speaking at the conference, the Minister of Sports, Ibrahim Yelenke, said government is committed to supporting every sporting discipline in the country, especially football, and that, he says, is reflecting on the mood of the players.
But as you can see now, this is the first time in the history of Sierra Leone football wherein players day and night are calling my telephone, expressing their eagerness to play this match, their determination to win this match, their determination, because reason being, most of them, I think this is their last chance. Of course, you can agree with me, Sierra Leone, the national football team is now an aging team.
The Minister of Sport, Ibrahim Yelenke, went on to say that the team was properly selected and most of the players have been playing active football. Responding to issues about the welfare of the sport and the tickets, the minister had this to say.
That problem that was existing, wherein players buy tickets to come and later they give them their money, or maybe some acrimony relating to that ticket. This is not that type of regime again. I have totally wiped it off. In fact, when invitations were sent to them, I did tell the SLFA man who is responsible for dispatching those invitations that not necessarily that when you have been invited, that it's a sanctity for you to buy your own ticket and come. No, you have to wait. We've sent you an invitation. If you want you to come, we send you a ticket. But if you risk it, you buy your ticket and come, you have yourself to blame.
The 39-man delegation will leave for Addis Ababa on Monday for the Group F Nations Cup qualifiers. SLBC News, Umubaka reporting.
Minister of Sports Ibrahim Yelenke updating journalists about Leo's preparedness against their Ethiopian counterpart match in Addis Ababa. That's all for sports tonight. I am Esther Maisamra. Thanks for watching.
Now are the main points. President Julius Maada Bio has held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The Vice President, Jude Jala, has commended the Japanese government for funding the construction of a warehouse for Sierra Leone at McDonald Village. And the Chairperson, Board of Directors of the National Revenue Authority, has visited the Customs and Excise Department. Well, that's all in this edition of Newshour on the SLBC. On behalf of the news team, I'm Kojo Kwafo. Thanks for watching.